Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. This is going to be a video about throwing some cylindrical cups. You can see it's a little uneven there. You should always wedge the clay enough so that there are no hard spots. I think there was a hard spot in the top of this one. That's why that hump, the top of the hump is throwing a little bit off there. So everything to this point is fairly standard. Just keep raising the wall. See where you're at. This one was still a little short. I use the brush occasionally if I want to put a little bit of water on something without using too much water, without having to end up with a mess. I just get a damp brush and kind of brush it on there. It gives you a lot of control over how much water gets on the piece. Looks like it's deep enough. Now it needs to be widened out a bit, so we're going to use the tongue rib. I start out by going straight down and compressing the bottom and then coming out against the finger and then going lightly from the inside and the outside to kind of bring the wall straight up. You're not so much as stretching it out as just evening out the wall as you go up. It takes a real light touch and it gets rid of the throwing rings as well. Can't remember why I'm going over this again. This is the first video I took when I started taking video again a few weeks back, and it's now ending up being the last video that I'm finally getting around to editing and putting up. I can't remember what was going on exactly. Looks like it's still a little bit narrow. So something that I don't normally do is go in twice. I don't recommend it, but I did it this time. So as an example of what not to do, there you have it. Don't worry too much about the unevenness of the rim. Once the cup stops spinning, the unevenness, it doesn't go away completely, but it's much less pronounced. Going down with that skin, I was adjusting the rim, and then after that, as a final step with the deer skin, I'm just taking the slip off the exterior there. Cut it off with enough to give you a little foot later, and you're done. Alright, and we're halfway through this video. I'm going to cone up the next one. I suspect this one's going to be even more even than the last one because I've gotten rid of that uneven lump in the top of the hump now. Raising it up. And I've mentioned this before, but use as much slip as you can instead of water. And that will keep you from having a big mess on your hands halfway down the hump. Halfway as you get through the hump, about halfway through, if you've used a lot of water and you have clay that's really absorbent, you end up with a big mess. So the slip really helps with that. Sometimes if it's a little hard to get inside with a slip, the brush with the water really helps. And you don't end up having to sponge out the bottom of the cup that way either. Straight down and then out to the side against the finger. And if you want to have round cylinders that don't turn oval as they're drying, the key to doing that is compressing the bottom hip there of that cup really well with that rib against your finger. You'll never have oval mouths again. Assuming that's ever been a problem for you. It was a big problem for me. And I spent a lot of time compressing the rim and it never made a difference. But when I figured out to start compressing the hips down there at the base, that eliminated my problem for me. And this is about it. I'm going to cut it off, and that is the end. So thank you for joining me today. Goodbye.